We had a friend that went to ADE and just bought too many tickets, and like she was just overwhelmed because it was like one night after other, and it was like till 8 a.m. and she's like, "Oh, I gotta
just
sell
gotta
it."
sleep.
Yeah, that could be a problem. Like
Yeah.
you get too excited, you think you're gonna do all these things, and then you realize at some point you're like, "Oh, I can't be awake for 5 days straight." Yeah.
Oh, I have to sleep. I forgot.
After the first 3 days, I was like, my body's in pain.
I brought in gum, right?
Yeah.
And then he said, "Oh, you cannot bring gum. It's on the no bring list." I was like, "Okay,
Interesting.
it's just gum, right?" But apparently you can eat the gum before going through the thing. So I was like, "Okay, whatever."
So it's like fresh in your breath right now, but not again.
Yeah, not
You get
again,
this
yeah.
one opportunity.
Your breath can smell good, just not when you're in there.
Yeah.
So
I
it's pretty
just
normal.
imagine like going to a conference, sitting next to a guy, and the guy's just like,
Or the other way around, where they're just sleeping in the chair, just not even paying attention. It depends on what you choose, you know?
There was I went to a bunch.
I didn't go to any, which is very surprising. I'm like, I'm here for pleasure only. I'm like, no business is being happening.
Yeah.
So you didn't miss out on too
That's
much.
what I
That's the
heard.
good news.
Yeah.
The way I felt these conference type things were set up, it was more of a sales pitch usually for a specific product or service.
Mm.
And it's like, it just didn't feel worth it for me. So I attended like 3 different ones. The most disappointing, unfortunately, was Armin's because
"Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Back and Body Hurts RAVE podcast, where we talk about all things EDM. Thanks for tuning in. This is the start of 2025, and this is as of this recording of this episode, this is the new year, new us, and we also have our legacy merch that we want to sell. So keep an eye out on the store when we put it in. So, and today we are actually very excited to bring back one of our recurring guests and also a new guest to talk about one singular topic, ADE, which stands for Amsterdam Dance Event. And just to introduce the panel right now, my name is Ekern. I'm the host, and to my right is Benny,
Hey,
also a host, and then it's Chris from Sleepless
That's right.
Events on the right, and also he's also a recurring member from Sleepless Entertainment Events.
events.
And then to his right is our new guest, Mitchell, who plays a DJ under the name of BOTHEN,
Correct.
and he also has a promotional company for Overlord Entertainment.
Co-founder of Overlord Entertainment.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's correct.
So ADE, where the whole city of Amsterdam actually parties for 5 days and 5 nights over 200 plus venues, like featuring 2,000, 3,000 over artists. And we're going to talk about workshops, networking, and sets that goes from sundown to sunup and back to sundown.
Yep.
So yeah.
So you guys went to ADE in October. How's that? How did you guys find that?
It was very good. So it was my first time in Europe, actually.
Really?
So yeah. So I went for about 5-6 nights, and then it was very good. So we try to like schedule all of our events for every day. Obviously that kind of goes out the window when you actually get there, but the whole atmosphere of ADE in Amsterdam was very good for the time I went.
That's a big first time Europe here in the
So
rave.
I just like to throw stuff at the wall, and just
Yeah.
like I don't really plan things.
Mhm.
So when I actually like book a day or like book a week of a vacation, I try and get everything out that I can. So
Did you end up traveling in Europe as well?
we didn't do too much in Europe, but we went to Berlin for
Okay.
just like one night.
Mhm.
We were there just for like just one show, and then we had like dinner out there, met a friend out there, and then we came back.
Mhm.
So yeah, we didn't do too much traveling because
Yeah.
we didn't have much time.
Did you also attempt to go into Berghain?
No, we didn't. We were there for like literally 30 hours was our total trip.
Yeah.
So we just had like a couple places, a couple venues that we tried to get into. We didn't get into 2 of them, but the third time's the charm, right? So we got into the third time.
Nice.
But no, it was Berlin was an experience for considering we had no hotel booked. We booked a train, got there at like 5 p.m. and our goal was to get on the train for like 7 a.m. So like we just had to truck it out for the first
Damn.
14 hours pretty much.
Did you book a hostel?
Nope.
No.
We were just there because we knew that like we might as well, since we weren't there for that long, we had to get as much as we can, squeeze it in.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so we were literally there for like 14 hours, and our travel time was 8 hours bus each way. So
okay. So you slept on the bus.
it was on the bus.
The bus is the hostel.
yeah, pretty much, but no sleep was done on the bus.
Yeah.
So
And Chris, you also went to ADE.
Yes, it was my first time going to ADE, but I have been to Amsterdam before. So figuring out ADE was an interesting experience because I didn't really know what it was. Like you've talked to people who've gone, you kind of get a picture of it, but then when you're actually there and you start to figure out, okay, this is like quite a packed 4 or 5 days that I'm going to be here, and it's overwhelming.
And it's the whole city too, and it's much bigger than Toronto. The way how I kind of want to picture it in a way is like we have Nuit Blanc here, and the whole city of Toronto turns into an art fest. Does it fall similar to like how ADE does their thing?
It felt like that, except a little bit more so than Toronto. Like you would just see the sign literally everywhere you went for ADE. You could overhear a lot of people on the street as they're walking by you. The conversations they're having are all like related to partying or music or whatever. So it does feel like they really do take over the entire city with it.
It was funny because Mitch mentioned that you two were trying to meet up.
Yes.
Yeah, we tried, but like when you're there, it's just you're doing so much. It's hard to squeeze stuff in, right?
Yeah.
So we were like messaging before we're like, we're gonna meet up. We got plans, and nothing felt there.
Yeah, I had plans with a bunch of people, and about 50% of those plans didn't work out. Some people I ran into in unexpected places, so I thought I was gonna meet them later at an event, but I just ran into them like at lunch, just randomly, and you make the most of the time you have.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's the same for me. Like I knew a lot of people that were going there, but I had no plans to meet them up. And actually, like some of the shows that I went to, I saw them there. So I was like just hanging out with them for the night and then like saying bye, never seeing them again. Right? It's just kind of how it works when you're on vacation, right?
Yeah.
So like there's so many artists and venues and they're playing them, right? Like how big, in a sense, because you said that you bump into some of your friends in certain venues. Like how big are they? I mean, I can say guess how it's like massive, but other than that.
It kind of, I guess it depends on where you go to. So like for us, we kind of went to places that we knew with the DJs. So like the whole point was to kind of hang out with the people that we already knew and to meet them there. So we didn't really go to any like huge actual like shows. More like I would say like 500, 600 capacity events and stuff like that. But yeah, like there's venues from like 50 people, like a small cafe, to like tens of thousands of people. So it kind of like varies on what you actually want to do.
How does it feel? Like, did you go to the cafe and like start raving in the cafe?
So we went to it wasn't a cafe, but it was like a sneaker store. So like it was literally our first time going downtown for like the whole weekend. And then me and my friend were just like walking down the street and we just heard like hard techno, like 150 techno. And we just walked, it was like in a sneaker store. It was like boiler room style. This guy just had like the decks in the middle of the floor, and there's probably like 40 people just like dancing just in the middle of like a middle sneaker store. Yeah, like the doors wide open, like you can hear down the street. It was pretty crazy.
That's vibe. That's a vibe.
That's a sight to see.
Yeah. That was nuts.
Yeah, I went to a place to get some food, and yeah, the restaurant had a DJ set up there too. So like while you're waiting for your food in the line, you're just jamming out some really good music.
Yeah. Do you talk to the DJ after?
At those smaller ones, yeah. I mean, they're very accessible because
they're also like very open, right? It's like boiler room.
Yeah,
set, so
and I mean they want people to talk to them because they want to introduce themselves, sell
to
themselves
show the
as a
music
DJ,
case and everything.
Exactly.
Do you also like when you see them playing in the boiler room set? Do you like kind of peek into what they're playing next and things like that?
Yeah, of course.
You have to do a little bit, but also like when I feel like the music taste over there is so much different than here. It's like when it was like the hard techno stuff, it's like different style than it is here. It's just more like it's everything there is just like normal music, but like take it underground. I don't know. It's just something about it which I enjoy better, to be honest. Like when I go to like a set, I don't want to know any of the music. Yeah. So I want to know, like, I want to figure out new stuff, and I just want to see new things. And that, like, when I was there all week, it was just that was everything I was listening to. So.
The way how I kind of separate like North American raves and music sounds and the European sounds, like the North American sounds want bangers and like hard hitting, and wants you to go all out in one night, and then you can leave like all sweaty. But then for European type of raves, they want you to stay for as long as possible. So they throw in some melodic, they throw in some like symphony and harmony type of like sounds to make you feel euphoric in that sense. How I would describe it.
Yeah.
So I've been to two festivals in Europe, Tomorrowland and Luminosity.
Nice.
So the sounds is like very, very different in a sense.
Yeah. I think it's more of like a journey than it is actually just playing like hard-hitting music the whole time, right?
Yeah.
I think they're just playing more longer sets too, like 2-3 hour sets instead of just an hour of just like hard-hitting stuff, right?
Was it busy all week?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was. Everywhere that I went, it was like slammed. But it was like it wasn't like shoulder slam. It was like a comfortable, super busy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never felt that they oversold any of the events. But it is just a lot of people are gathering in the city, so the events are gonna be full, like which is good.
I kind of was under the impression that like sort of it starts on a Wednesday, right?
Yeah.
It starts on a Wednesday, it's sort of like quiet on the Wednesdays, and then as it gets to the weekend, it gets more and more packed.
Yeah.
I missed out on the Wednesday because I couldn't get the day off of work. But were you there for Wednesday?
I was there on Wednesday. We went to, I think it was Techno Afterboard. It was Sadayub's label.
Okay.
So they were like having a show. Our like partner, like Eric James, like knows them. So we kind of went there to take a look. It was, for the first Wednesday, it wasn't crazy busy. It was probably like, I would say the venue was like 600 people, like 400 people were there. So it wasn't like sold out, but like I think it was just people, when they landed, they were just kind of like getting warmed up kind of thing. So it was very like chill, which was nice, but it's also on a Wednesday. It's like in the middle of the city, like where our Airbnb was, like there was a school right beside, and there's just like kids walking around. So like you gotta realize that you're still in the middle of the city when you're there, right?
Is it a lot of locals or is it mostly foreigners?
No, there were a lot of locals for sure. Especially like I went to the Verknipt event on Friday, and I would say most of the people there were either locals or like from nearby European countries. They're actually very surprised when they come across like North Americans.
Really?
Yeah, I think they don't realize how big of a festival it is, like the locals at least. They think it's like a small little thing they're doing there. But
that's interesting, because I like for us, at least for me, it feels like ADE is like the pinnacle of dance music.
It's
like
kinda,
it's a Q's convention, right?
Yeah, it's kind of like Miami Music Week, but in Amsterdam, in like Europe, right? It's kind of like the same concept, but I think they might just be doing it better out there, in my opinion.
Have you been to Miami Music Week?
No, I was supposed to go instead of Amsterdam, but I chose this one instead. I think
it's a good choice.
I think it was too. So I think it's like the same concept, but like they're more open to do things in Europe more than like America. It's just my opinion, right?
What? How did you factor like going to Miami Music Week or going to ADE?
I think it was just since I haven't been in Europe before, and I heard like amazing things. I've been to like Miami before, so I'm like maybe I just want to try something new. But I think I'd definitely eventually end up there at some point. It's just there's so many things to do, right? You just gotta pick and choose your battles, and that'll be one point.
And also cost too.
Yeah.
That's it. That's a battle, I guess.
Cost is a limiting factor for sure.
Yeah.
All right. So you mentioned that you missed the first day.
Yes.
And which day did you land at?
So I landed on Wednesday.
You landed on Wednesday.
I was supposed to land on Tuesday, but our flight got delayed a day.
Classic.
But yeah, especially in Hamilton, the flights are not very good. So we landed on Wednesday at like 5 p.m. So we pretty much just dropped all of our stuff off at BnB, ate something, and then went to the event straight after.
Straight after. So like on the way, like when you land on the airport, is there like signs of ADE and everything?
Not at the airport. I think you had to get out of the airport first to actually start seeing the signs. But there's like signs on like poles. There's like everywhere you can go downtown Amsterdam. There's like advertising everywhere. But they just shut the downtown down when actually Amsterdam like ADE happens. So.
Wow. So okay, I have a question.
Yeah.
That little box of ADE, that yellow box, is everywhere.
It is everywhere.
It is. It's pretty much there for that shows that are happening. Because there's people
like clubs and everything.
It's just like Amsterdam, like ADE events have the box. So sometimes if you're downtown, there's like renegade stuff. So like other people are throwing shows, and if they don't have the box, it's not like an ADE.
It's not an official.
Yeah.
It's not official.
Yeah. So there are other people doing events down there, but I think like the ADE boxes are like the official stuff.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay, so like for events in Toronto, it's kind of difficult to find like underground shows unless you are following the artist or the Instagram page itself. And downtown Toronto is like less than 10 times the size of Amsterdam.
Yeah.
So how does the promoters like promote shows in Amsterdam and like ADE? Because like I went to the website and I was scrolling down the list. I was like, okay, the pagination is 99. How am I gonna go through all of these things?
Yeah.
That's a good question. Like the way I did it is I kind of went to events that I scouted out ahead of time. So I didn't really do too many like on the fly kind of events. I already had an idea of where I was gonna go. Also, I didn't buy the Pro Pass because I wasn't gonna be there for the full 5 days. So I had to buy all my tickets in advance too. So yeah, I did rely on ADE's website a lot for just seeing like what events are happening, which days, and buying all the tickets that way.
And for you?
Yeah, same for me. So like they released it, like most of the events like a couple months in advance. So you kind of just do like your pre-scheduling there. For some days we just kind of like go with the flow. Like we just ask people there like recommendations and stuff like that. But for us, I think we bought 3 tickets. We bought Wednesday, Thursday, Friday before we even went, and then like Saturday, Sunday we kind of just like planned out the vibe. But I think like for the most part, you just use like the AD Instagram. They do a lot of promotion on that, and then the website is like very helpful, especially if you kind of know what you want to see. But if you have no idea, you can just scroll through the days and just kind of like choose and stuff like that. So
what are the different passes available? You mentioned pass.
So the one that makes the most sense, and I kind of regret that I didn't buy it, is the Pro Pass, because if you want to do as much as you can, it's just easier. You get the Pro Pass, you don't have to worry about buying individual event tickets.
You just show up.
Yeah, and there's more go with the flow, because like you might come across something randomly and they're like, well, I can walk in because I got my Pro Pass, right? You don't have to worry about planning for everything. I didn't get it because I was going for 2 days fewer than the full festival, but even still, next time I would still get it just for ease of convenience.
Did you guys ended up in Gas Outer at least once?
Yeah.
I didn't know. I didn't go, unfortunately.
I did, and it's magical.
Nope.
Did you know that nearly 25% of adults experience hearing damage from loud noise exposure, like the music at clubs or festivals? Once it's gone, it's gone. That ringing you hear after a night out? It's a sign that your ears are crying for help. Hears provides earplugs that reduce noise levels by up to 21 decibels, enough to protect your hearing while still letting you feel the bass and enjoy the show. Get up to 30% off when you group buy with 5 friends. Click the link in the description now or scan the QR code on the screen. Don't wait till it's too late. Order today so you have it for your next event.
Which set did you go?
So I went for the drum code night.
Oh,
Yeah.
We were supposed to go, but we never ended up going to that one.
I ran into Eric and
Did
some
you?
of the
Yeah,
other guys.
they separated. So they did their own thing, and then we kind of did our own thing that night. But
Right.
yeah, I heard good things.
So first of all, I got to say, it's actually smaller than I thought it would be inside the gas
inside?
outer.
The videos just make it look huge.
Yes. And you know what? They have the most magical lighting setup I've ever seen in any venue. It makes that place look like a million different places throughout the night. And they do these crazy effects where they do like the lights just spin around a lot and you just get so disoriented and you're like, where am I, man?
I want to see the giant dish.
Yes.
That's sick.
When
So-
that came out, that was cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
like the light reflecting off of it and just, oh man.
So for size comparison, like how would you say it's different from Toronto or even like New City Gas or something?
It feels a lot like the size of Grand Bazaar, I would say. So like
that's small.
It's big, but not as big as you would think. Yeah, exactly. Like I was expecting some massive,
This
giant place,
Yeah.
and no, it's just the way the lighting works. It makes it look bigger than it is.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Did you see fireworks that goes around?
They did the fireworks. Yes, I was waiting all night for that moment.
Like the regrets are kicking in.
I was like, I know it's gonna happen at some point, and I was like, they're gonna get me when I least expect it. And as soon as you hear that noise, you're like, oh, here we go.
So the gas outer is actually closing for renovations for 8 months.
Yeah.
Do you think it'll be open in time for ADE?
I think they would try and push it, even if, because it's probably like one of the mainstays, right?
It's one of the
They're
main
definitely gonna try, like it's one of the biggest ones, so they want to open that. I don't see why they wouldn't try and open it for then. 'Cause,
Yeah.
like,
I think it's such a big important part of ADE that
Yeah.
they have to get it open in
Yeah.
time.
Did you go to the Ziggo Dome?
I did. That place is
I
also
didn't either. Honestly, when I said I went to everything like small, I went everything small.
the
Well, I'm sure it's still a good
Ziggo
time,
Dome was the big venue there, and
Is it bigger than
wow.
gas outer?
Yes.
Oh,
Way bigger,
interesting.
yeah.
They had the Afterlife show there, right?
They did Afterlife
Yeah.
there. I went for Emily Lenz's night.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
that was
we were gonna
really
buy
good.
tickets for the Afterlife one. We just didn't have time, and it was like they sold out pretty quick.
Yeah.
So we just never got the chance. And
So
it is what
when
it is.
when you're buying tickets, like feeling the vibe of like day 4 and day 5, you just pretty much pull up the schedule and you see what's up and just buy it on the
Yeah.
site.
Is it hard to buy ticket, like just single show tickets? I heard like some shows.
There was
do sell out.
there were a couple shows where it was annoying because you have to get up really early because of the time zone difference, because everything starts at like 5 a.m. our time for buying tickets, and if you don't like buy them right away, you're stuck either paying the highest tier or you might not get any.
before.
Yeah. So this
Okay.
is in advance. So like I had to wake up at least 3 different days at like 5 a.m. just to buy tickets.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
But honestly, like for these events, like it's surprising how cheap they are compared to stuff here.
Yes.
Yes.
Like
Yeah,
we s-
what's the average price?
So for like the I think at the like Victor Ruiz and there's a couple other like techno guys like that. It was like 20 euros for like 2 stages and like 8 international DJs on the lineup. And like I went to, I don't remember what the show was called, but it was an outside kind of like a festival thing. There's like 3 stages and it was like in a giant clown tent. And there was like blow up animals just like in the middle of the crowd.
Oh, is that Elro?
No, it wasn't. It was something else. I can't remember what the name was now, but it was just like all like minimal like Ibiza tech house style, and it was like 30 euros, and it was like it was like outside festival with like 3 different stages. I mean, this is like the best 30 euros I've ever spent.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was so good. It's just all the shows there, even the Afterlife stuff, it was like 100 euros for like a whole festival lineup.
Yeah,
it's like surprising how cheap things are.
It's because they don't have
Toronto
to import
no.
artists.
Yeah,
they don't have to import artists to.
That helps. Yeah,
yeah, that helps a lot.
Yeah.
Toronto can never.
No, not even close. It's just the conversion rate for Canadian dollars to euros, like even US is just
it's
really bad.
Although Montreal does surprise me sometimes because they have the same acts as Toronto for usually half the price there.
The problem is with Montreal is the city actually works with promoters, and so like they actually like if they throw a show in Montreal, then the city actually gets involved. Right. Compared to Toronto, where it's like Live Nation, Embrace, just like all the big companies are doing
Ticketmaster.
Yeah, so they kind of run the monopoly of them owning everything, but Montreal's different because the city actually helps out with venues and stuff.
That makes sense.
It's also cheaper to fly from Europe to Montreal.
Yeah.
Than it is to Toronto. So and people just grab all the artists from like New York and classic.
Yeah.
So did you guys did you guys see any DJs walking on the street?
Like bigger DJs.
We saw DJs. One. We saw him at the airport. His name's Toman. I'm not sure if you guys know. He's like more of a minimal house guy. He was just walking by the airport by himself with like his suitcase and stuff. But like you can see people down the street. I saw my friends saw other people. I didn't see too many, but sure you probably saw.
I didn't run into too many on the street, like unless it was right outside of a venue where they were doing like a talk or something, and you just kind of see them on their way in or out. But yeah, no like really chance encounters on the subway or anything like that. Yeah.
I see.
I'm sure they're around though. They're probably like walking down the street with just by themselves.
They don't get like a Taylor Swift VIP kind of like.
I don't think so.
Probably not. No budget for that.
Yeah, that's true. So like I've seen some of the events that are in Amsterdam, ADE that goes for like 8-10 hours. Are they in and out?
To a certain point, yeah. They do tend to cut it off at like around 5-ish. So like
I'm sure if you have the pro pass, they're like, oh, you have the pro pass, you come in.
Well, but we tried to get into an event after the Emily Lenz thing, and we tried to get in at around like 5:30, and they told us no more entry at this point. So they do cut it off eventually, but yeah, you can do a lot of in and out for sure.
I see.
Yeah, but the shows do run super late. Like every show at least is like 7 a.m.
It's literally 5 days, 5 nights.
Yeah, like nonstop. Like they do close at some point, but like 8 a.m. close times is like insane. Like when they start at like 10 p.m. And they'll just go like literally all night.
That's your breakfast right there.
Yeah.
Just a DJ set and for breakfast.
Yeah, just go from
coffee
right
and that
a
done.
Right to a cafe.
So how many tickets did you ended up selling? From overbuying?
So just one actually.
Okay.
Yeah, so we called an audible last minute because I had a ticket for the Rainier Zonneveld event Saturday night, and then the crew I was with, they decided they all wanted to go to Emily Lenz instead. And I'm actually kind of glad I went there.
I think it's a better choice.
Yeah.
Rainier is a hit or miss. In my opinion. So
also I got to go to the Ziggo Dome. So
I mean
it's definitely worth it.
How about you?
For me, I didn't sell any. So I'm very frugal when I was on vacation. So like I bought the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday tickets. And then the Saturday was that was the Berlin night. So then I came back Sunday. I was like, I'm going to do something Sunday, just not sure yet. And then we just bought them last minute, which were like 30, 40 euros. So like it was very reasonable, even buying last minute.
Yeah. We had a friend that went to ADE and just bought too many tickets. And like she was just overwhelmed because it was like one night after other, and it was like till 8 a.m. and she's like, "Oh, I gotta sell.
Just gotta sleep."
Yeah, that could be a problem. Like you get too excited, you think you're gonna do all these things, and then you realize at some point you're like, "Oh, I can't be awake for 5 days straight." Yeah.
Oh, I have to sleep. I forgot.
After the first 3 days, I was like, my body's in pain. I'm like, I just needed like a full day. That was like the Berlin. I was like, 8 hours on this thing, sit on this bus, and I'm like, that didn't even help. That just made everything worse. So it's I think as long as you like kind of prepare and just like get a few tickets that you want and then kind of play last minute on the other ones, I think that's probably my strategy. But like don't buy too many, but like if you do, there's ways to sell tickets, so that kind of makes it help.
Yeah, or just buy the pass and then go with the flow.
So continuing on, like ADE, aside from like being a event, going to raves and whatnot, and there's also like the conference sides of things. And I also see on the website, like the conference part is like 30 minutes to like maximum 2 hours, and you have like the sets going like sundown, sun up. So it's kind of funny that, you know, as a raver, I can kind of say, at least on the host panels, I couldn't really see who's behind the decks. I don't really care about who's behind the decks. And as long as you produce some good sounds, sometimes like when I hear a name, I cannot really put a picture, a face behind the name, but I usually put a sound behind the name. And then when you come to like conferences, you're wearing like nicer clothes, I guess you can say, and sitting down and listening to some of these people talk keynote speeches, you know, giving workshops on amazing different texts that are coming into the scene. So like when you go to all this, how many of these events that you guys went to?
I went to a bunch.
I didn't go to any, which is very surprising. I'm like, I'm here for pleasure only. I'm like, no business is being happening.
Yeah.
So you didn't miss out on too much.
what I
That's the
heard.
good news.
Yeah.
The way I felt these conference type things were set up, it was more of a sales pitch usually for a specific product or service. And it's like, it just didn't feel worth it for me. So I attended like 3 different ones. The most disappointing, unfortunately, was Armin's, because I thought I was going to get to hear some real insight from, you know, a legend of the scene. And basically what it boiled down to is him saying, oh, my buddy made this DJ software that lets you pre-plan your sets entirely, including transitions. And I was like, what?
Why? Trying to sell that?
Yes.
Stealing your own job from you.
I know. That's what
Kinda,
I get it, it's his friend, but I was like, dude, no, that's not what I came here for.
That is his insight. That's what he does right now for all his main stage stats.
He claimed that he doesn't pre-do his transitions, but I don't know. I mean
take it with a grain of salt.
Which conferences did you go to? Or conferences.
So I got the lab pass, and then basically what you do is you wake up early, which already kind of sucked if you're going out the night before, and then you got to get in a lineup, which took a couple hours to finally get to the front of, and then whatever's still available for sign up, you can sign up that moment. So it's also like kind of a crapshoot, because you don't even know if the thing you got in line for is still going to be available by the time you get to the front of the line.
Interesting. So it's like, right now I'm picturing like a building where all the conference happens. You line up in the morning, and then you get to the front of the line, and then whatever is open, you just sign up.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
And then, sometimes you get lucky and you can get into everything you want. And sometimes you're just like, no, sorry, you got here too late.
Kind of how like TIFF, Toronto Film Festival, operates things here.
Yeah.
So you just go up there, and then if you have a spot, that they'll just let you in. If not, you just have to line up somewhere else.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah.
That's
Do you think that Pro Pass would have helped?
For that, I don't think so, because I think you still have to line up to sign up for the individual events. So the Pro Pass just helps mostly for getting into other events more quickly, or just last minute decisions.
I think the Pro Pass is pretty much just the lab pass plus tickets.
Yeah.
I think that's the only difference.
Yeah.
But from even what I heard, I was like, the Pro Pass is not even guaranteed to get into spots. I think there's like a certain amount of Pro Pass entries to events. So like, say like the event sold out and like the Pro Pass section is sold out, then you won't even get it. It's just like, I think from what I read and what I heard from when I was there, they said just buy your ticket straight up. Because even the Pro Pass is not for every event. There are some events that don't let you in if it's not like an ADE event, right? But from what I heard, I said just buy the tickets, and just like, unless you like plan on going to the conferences and doing all that stuff, it's not really worth it from what I heard.
Kind of sounds like a hefty price. So like,
it's
if
like
you have a Pro Pass, and then you see the event that you're going to, the Pro Pass is already max, and you really want to go to it, you have to buy the ticket online that day.
Exactly.
Right there.
Yeah.
It's also like 500 euros. Like the Pro Pass is not cheap.
It is. You got to commit to spending a lot of money up front. It all depends on how much you were planning to see, I think. If you're only like going for 1 or 2 events, just buy the tickets, the 1 or 2 events.
I mean, $500 is not that bad.
Well, no, 500 euros.
It's like 800 Canadian.
With our trash conversion rate.
The conversion rate.
I mean, conversion rate is trash. Like, okay,
true.
let's put aside conversion rate and put like dollar for dollar.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if you pay like 500 euro for 500 Canadian, you can only get like a VIP pass in Veld.
Yeah.
That's true.
So
That's a good way to compare it.
Yeah, but Veld is only 3 days, and this is 5 nights and 5 days.
Yeah.
So
But it's also not 100% guaranteed to go to the places you want, which is also the thing, right? Like, I think I only spent like 300 euros for the events I went to.
So you wouldn't buy the pro pass and just be done with it? Like, there's no way of buying just a pass and just having a worry-free weekend of if you're gonna get into something or not.
You could, like, some of my friends did that and they managed to get into everything they wanted to, but I could imagine if you want to go to certain bigger events, it might be like a gamble whether you'll get in or not.
You never know, right?
Yeah.
We didn't do it. We just bought the tickets straight up, and I'd recommend it
Yeah.
because like we also didn't go to too many conferences, which even the people that went there, they said it wasn't even worth it.
Not worth it.
It's also
man.
like Eric James went to Space 92 like production class.
Yeah.
And he was there. I think he was there for like an hour. Even when he was there, he was like, they didn't really teach much. They had like 2 or 3 samples they were trying and just like showing like how like the Ableton works and all that stuff. And like he said it was like okay. It wasn't like great, but it was more like for the basic knowledge. Right?
It's something you can learn from YouTube.
Yeah, he's giving you like 1 or 2 tricks, which is like you can't bring your own stuff with you, right? Because he's not gonna like teach you on the spot. But he gives you like some practice and just some like little small things to work on, and like that's about it. Like even if you go to these things, it's not a guaranteed you're gonna get your money's worth.
Interesting. So like they don't even have, you know how like some workshop places they hand you your station to like play and learn along some of the transitions. So it's just like watching a YouTube video, except like it's live.
Yeah.
And there is a label behind it.
Yeah, he's just a projector and he's just on his laptop like producing, and then you're pretty much watching and just like taking in notes. Pretty much, that's kind of how it worked.
I saw on this video. It's like this. You can bring your tracks to like different labels in ADE, and then you can just give it to them. If they like it, they'll sign it on the spot or something like that. Is that?
I'm not sure on the spot, but I think they'll definitely take it back with them.
Yeah,
like that's kind of the thing. If you're there for a purpose, like if you're a producer, it's a great spot to go.
Mm-hmm.
You can just like load up like 30-40 USBs, bring like your EPs, bring your like unreleased stuff, and bring it there. Like you can meet so many other DJs and like network through that. So like if your goal is to like expand your brand and do stuff like that, then I think it's worth it. Especially I think ED's especially worth it for producers. In my opinion.
Yeah. For me, like my approach is a little bit different because I've already met a lot of people online that are related to labels and stuff like that. So I use it as an opportunity to meet them in person. And this way just kind of further develop that existing relationship. And I find because once they know you're an actual person, they get to know you, like it increases your chances when you send music in the future. That it's more likely to get listened to properly and considered for the label, right? So
you meet more people from them. Right?
Yes, exactly.
Mutuals on mutuals. How many USBs did you bring?
I didn't have any.
Zero. Yeah, because you know what, I was debating bringing music, but then part of me was like, I don't think I'm actually going to meet people in the right circumstances to hand them music.
Yeah.
Because either I'm going to be at a party where no one's going to care. Because even if I meet them, they'll be like, hey, nice to meet you. Anyway, there's a party going on. Let's not talk about music right now.
Yep.
Or, I'll show up at one of these conferences and I'm nobody to them. And they're like, just another random USB. Just throw it in the pile and never listen to it.
I'm sure like 90% of the people are DJs there anyway.
Yeah,
so it's like they probably heard it all, right?
Yeah.
So it's not really worth it because like you say, it's just like a resume that you just throw.
Yeah. For me, my mission was let me just meet people that I'm already kind of talking to, but haven't met in real life, and then meet some more people through them while I'm there.
Yeah.
Would you say you achieved that goal?
Definitely. Yeah.
So how do you manage your time going from keynotes to like raves and whatnot? Because like you said that if the conferences is usually in the morning and the next day, standing in line if you're partying the night before must be brutal.
It was. I missed a lot of sleep that I should have had.
Yeah. No, it's tough because you're trying to you're trying to go to obviously the ADE stuff, but you also want to like explore Amsterdam if you've never been, right?
Yeah.
So it's very hard to like balance it. I think if you just like kind of build like a little mini schedule in your head, like we're gonna get a restaurant this time and plan it like that, it's good. But like obviously like when you go, it's gonna be at night and like stuff. But there is a lot of day parties. Like we went to like a couple of record stores that were like sponsored by ADE. So like they have like people playing vinyl and like you can like shop for records and do the same thing while they also like sell food and sell drinks while you're in there. So like they have a lot of stuff downtown that's actually very cool and it's like very chill. And it's there's a lot of stuff to do there.
Would you say it's like a very well established event?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Very well
very
run.
organized.
Is it very organized?
Yeah, very.
I feel like most of this is your first European, but most European festivals are super organized. Like Awakenings was really organized. Tomorrowland was really organized. I don't know about Luminosity. Was it really?
Luminosity was kind of organized, although like the security guard was kind of dick because like they
That's hit or miss, right?
hit or miss, and then I brought in gum, right?
Yeah.
And then he said, "Oh, you cannot bring gum. It's on the no bring list." I was like, "Okay,
Interesting.
it's just gum, right?" But apparently, you can eat the gum before going through the thing. So I was like, "Okay, whatever."
So it's like fresh in your breath right now, but not again.
Yeah, not
You get
again,
this
yeah.
one opportunity.
Your breath can smell good, just not when you're in there.
Yeah. So yeah, everything is like pretty well organized, I would say.
From
So
what we saw, yeah, very organized.
Are the transit free during the event, or do you still have to pay for like?
I bought a
public-
pass. I think you still have to pay. Yeah.
Okay.
We took mostly Ubers, but we did take a bike a few times,
Mhm.
and the bikes were like 15 euros for the whole day.
There's a lot of bikes in
It's
Amsterdam.
Chaos, and they also like don't care if you're like don't know what you're doing. They'll just
Yeah.
like run you right over. Like,
Yeah.
we were like crossing the street one time with our bikes, and this guy's just on the moped, just like going like 40 kilometers an hour, just like didn't even care, didn't honk a horn, didn't do anything.
Yeah.
So I think like the main way of traveling is biking around there, and
Mhm.
it's very worth it. There's a lot of bike paths, and there's
Yeah.
a lot of like, if you don't know how to drive a bike, I definitely don't take the main roads because they get angry at you.
Yeah. I almost got run over as a pedestrian because I didn't look for the bikes. Like that's something you kind of have to like
To
really be aware
readjust.
of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it left-hand drive over there?
No, they're on the right
Oh, okay.
side. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There's
It's-
just so much going on. It's
Yeah.
like you're not just watching out for cars. You got to watch out for all the bikes, all the pedestrians.
Yeah.
It's like a
It's,
lot of
it's
they
not
will
chaos.
slow
it's not
down.
like the North American system where pedestrian is king.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes. I was surprised. I thought pedestrian is king,
Yeah.
but not
Well,
there.
bikers
no.
are king over there.
Yeah.
Even the car is just like not happening.
The minute you go a little bit more east from us here in the west, pedestrian is less and less of a king.
Yeah. Just less and less.
So, like, do you learn more about the business side of things? Say if you go to the conferences, because people are just promoting all this Ableton and whatnot.
Yeah, I don't think I had any real insight from
Mhm.
anybody, because even another one that I went to that was specifically about like getting a good manager and growing your brand,
Mm-hmm.
it just didn't give any real good advice other than like be lucky. That's kind of how I,
Not
it's
even
like,
much advice you can give
Yeah.
besides like be lucky, be in the right spot at the right time, and just like
Mhm.
stuff like that. Right?
yeah,
I think the number one tip you can even do now is just like promote your brand and be unique. Like that's
Mhm.
like literally the only thing you can do nowadays, right? There's so oversaturated right now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
What-
because
what-
you have to do so many things just to like be heard, right? Your social media presence, your even your club scene presence. You have to go like try to meet up with a bunch of promoters, your
Mhm.
club owner, and everything. Try to get any little bit of insights or like mutual friends, connections. You have to take it just to like make it.
connections are definitely the most important thing. So if I had to get any one piece of advice that I found out there, it's like, yes, just you got to know the right people.
Mm.
Doesn't matter how talented you are, doesn't matter how good you are on social media. Like if you don't have someone who can get you into where you want to be,
Mm-hmm.
good
Yeah,
luck.
good luck.
Like you're just, it's like very random whether it'll work out for you or not.
yeah.
Right?
Or just like, even that having that one person to get you to the next step. Just like
Yeah.
meet this one person, like have a conversation with them. You just need that person to get you there.
Mm.
It's not even like the skills, you can only go so far. If you're gonna like try and like grow your brand or do anything like that, you need someone to introduce you to some people. It's just kind of how it is.
What did you what would you have liked more of at ADE?
For me at least, I think I'd want to try out the conferences and just like check it out. I think I don't know, it's tough because you try to, the whole point is to go to events, right?
Yeah.
But like you just want, like for me, we only went downtown to explore like one day and like check out the whole like local ADE side. Like the record shop was like very cool to see. Like the middle of the there's no like grocery store raves that I saw.
Yeah.
But like the clothing store one was very cool. I think they had a whole bunch of stuff like that that we just didn't check out. But like I think seeing more like day stuff and like just more exploring just to see like what else they got going on downtown is probably like what I would hopefully do next time.
And I know like the vibes is like kind of very dancey for the whole of city. Was it weird that when you walk out and you just see people talking about music and like the whole city just in a festival in a sense? Would you even consider ADE a festival?
I think it would qualify. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it takes over the entire city.
Yeah.
Everyone's talking about it for that week, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even like people that don't go out for like ADE, like they know about it. Like the people, like the regular city goers, they know that is happening.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe they just try and avoid everyone during that week. They try and stay out of it. But yeah, so like I was saying before, like we ended a show at like 6:00 in the morning, and so we were like walking to our BnB. We walked past like a school where people are bringing their children to school, and I'm like, this is just not.
Does it feel like a festival?
It's different because it's like there's like normal people around, so like it is a little bit different than a normal festival because everyone's there for an actual festival for a reason, right? But when you're just like going to work the next day and you're walking past them when you're done your activities, that's a little bit weird.
It's like 8 a.m. You're just leaving the club.
You're just like crawling out, and then like you just see someone with their kids. And I'm like, this is just interesting.
I love how you describe them as normal people. The people going to ADE are not normal.
Definitely not the normal person. No.
I have a question. So, like, you have people who work normal 9 to 5 jobs there, and did you see like going to events around that closing time, like people in suits or like work clothes?
Yeah, I definitely walked past like a bunch of professional people who were on their way to, you know, their jobs and stuff in the morning.
But like, do you see them in clubs?
Oh,
after?
in the clubs? No, pretty much everyone who's in there is not going to work the next morning.
Yeah, same for me.
I see. What do you guys you mentioned about like the connections on the managerial side of things, more of like luck base. Is there anything like other topics that kind of stood out in your conferences, or like even natural conversations that people have in ADE?
It was interesting because I overheard a conversation in line to sign up for something, and there was a bunch of DJs or producers, and they were just kind of discussing like what they think the upcoming genre trends are going to be for the next couple of years.
Interesting.
Because right now, like obviously techno and hard techno is having its moment, but eventually something else is going to step up, right? Melodic techno is kind of still around. It's this weird thing where like I thought it was kind of on the downward trajectory, but seems to be coming back again.
I think it's like kind of stagnant in a sense. Like they have tried to do a lot more sphere shows to like promote it.
Right.
Now it's making it global, so like it will still maintain that.
It's just I feel like it's just there.
Yeah.
So.
It's becoming kind of like what tech house was maybe 5 or 6 years ago, where it was like the default genre. Like if you wanted to throw a party and you didn't have a specific thing in mind, you're like, let's go with melodic techno. It's a safe bet, right?
Yeah.
So when you overheard that conversation, because we kind of say that North America is like 3 to 5 years behind in terms of trends. Even right now, the Euro dance sound for techno is coming, like hard groove and hard dance, hard house. But it's like huge in Europe, like people at Marlon Hofstad, Kiki, you know, going through those kind of phases right now. So like what sort of inside topic that they discuss? What's the upcoming trend?
Well, BnB seems to be getting very popular over there too. Because I know over here it's kind of having a comeback as well. And then hardstyle as well. Which is, I think in Europe, hardstyle's kind of always been there.
Yeah.
But I'm curious to see if it'll officially make its way over here.
Did you go to the DEF CON label, any event?
No, I didn't.
This is a little bit too intense for me.
Those look like crazy
They're
parties.
insane. Like 300 BPM music. I'm like, I don't know. Those are just sounds at this point.
Yeah, it's a bit much, but I do want to experience it because it looks really cool.
It looks fun.
Yeah. That one looks very, like I see the YouTube sets all the time, and like they're very organized, and like the people there are just like so for the music. It's actually crazy. Like, it's also like a massive festival. I don't think we realize like how big it actually is, but in Europe it's like huge.
Yeah,
it's massive.
What do you guys think of Alpha Theta taking over Pioneer? Not taking over, but like has rebranding.
Pioneer's such a good brand. Why mess with it? Like I don't understand what the logic is.
They're trying to get modern, I guess. I'm not sure, but like I think Pioneer's such a staple. Like everyone will just refer back to it anyways. But I don't know.
It's just like the X Twitter thing, though.
Yeah, I mean, I still refer to it as Twitter. I'm not going X. It's just like it's so ingrained in your brain that Pioneer is like a pioneer in like the music scene. I think it's not gonna matter. Like,
but you for X, it's like you still this person tweeted this. You don't say this person X'd this.
Yeah, what is the short form for tweeted?
Yeah. That's a good point.
So, what do you think about other brands that are trying to topple over Pioneer? because like I think like Alpha Theta is trying to go towards more the consumer side, the club side, and whatnot. Like the all-in-one deck systems are great from Alpha Theta. But what do you think about other brands that are trying to do their own CDJ 3000?
I think they like Denon had its wave. I think there's always gonna, because the whole point is like they try to make it cheaper than Pioneer, but then the problem is they get cheaper on like the actual product. So like when I used to play on Denons, I played on it for like a couple years. It was like more toyish than it is actually like CDJs, and it's just CDJs are just so like built.
Yeah.
And they feel sturdy and mechanical, and I feel like the Denons is just a little bit more toy because they're trying to make it cheaper, they're trying to make it better, but I think like at the point of where like decks are right now, I think there's not much you can improve on. They're just, that's why when they release new things, it's very like minuscule and like not much is changing. I think that Pioneer would just always be number one because it's like club standard. Other stuff is more just like at home based.
It's hard to change. I wouldn't say the word tradition. Standard. It's hard to change the standard.
Yeah.
Because everyone's used to it, and the infrastructure is kind of already there.
Exactly.
And once you sort of just tweak a little bit, it's harder to tweak just a small amount.
Yeah, they'd have to come up with something significantly different to convince people to switch from Pioneer.
How do you feel about the wireless headphones or wireless headphones on the
Alpha Theta? No.
I haven't used wireless headphones, but I have concerns because I know generally with wireless stuff, there's always a delay.
Yeah.
And this is not the type of like situation where you can afford to have a delay because it can really mess things up.
Yeah.
So I'm a little skeptical. I'd have to try it out and see
there
how
can't
they
be like
actually
zero
work.
latency at all. Like there's always going to be a small little bit delay in wireless. It's just for like DJing something that's so specific, I don't think you can have like any delay at all, right? But even when you're DJing, you're not moving that much. So like the cord will be right here. I don't think you'll need to be wireless. It just doesn't make sense for me.
I mean, it depends on what kind of DJ you are.
If you're Patrick Mason,
Yeah.
moving around a lot.
Somersaults in the background, maybe that'll help.
Yeah, because like technology is like becoming more and more efficient right nowadays, right? Back then when you say, like, just going a little bit off tangent, when you do computer games, right? When you want to go pro in playing computer games, you want to have like a wired mouse. But nowadays I see some of the live games, they don't even have wired mouse anymore. So,
really?
So
maybe one day, right?
Yeah, maybe
you
one
never
day.
know.
Yeah.
Technology's coming so fast, but like I can think the worst case scenario, like you didn't charge your headphones, just dies mid-set. I'm like, now what?
Yeah,
that would be tragic. Yeah.
Like something you dream about, like hope that never happens.
Yeah. But as DJs, you sort of have to face these challenges as it goes, because it's never gonna be a perfect set, right?
Of course, yeah.
Now, in like going up to the deck and you see that the guy previously didn't press the vinyl break or whatever, and then, you know, it messes up your set. So just moving on. If let's say I want to go to ADE, how many days would I have to take off?
For those who live for festivals, raves, and nightclubs, you know the energy, the music, and the memories. Every time you leave with ringing ears, you're risking permanent hearing damage. Here's Earplugs offers hearing protection designed specifically for music lovers. Their earplugs reduce noise levels by up to 21 decibels, protecting your hearing while keeping the music crystal clear. Get up to 30% off when you group buy with 5 friends. Protect your hearing, enjoy the music. Click the link in the description now or scan the QR code on the screen. Don't wait till it's too late. Order today so you have it for your next event.
So I was only able to take off 2 days, Thursday and Friday, from work. So it severely limited my ability to fully enjoy it because I flew out Wednesday night, got there Thursday afternoon, and then Sunday I had to leave around noon, right? So I missed out on quite a bit. But ideally, if you could get like Wednesday off of work plus all the way up till like Monday, that would be the best way to do it.
3 days. Because when you fly from here, you're flying against time. So eventually you will end up, no matter, unless you're leaving in the morning, you will reach at night. But if most of the time, you always ended up the next day.
Yeah, it's a lost day on the way there for sure.
Because we left Tuesday at like 7 p.m. and we landed at like on Wednesday at like noon. So like it depends on like what time you leave at. You can maybe squeeze it in at night, but it's kind of tough.
Did you bump into anyone at the airport that was going to ADE too?
No, because I flew out of Hamilton. Not everyone flew out of Toronto. So I'm like, I'm from Hamilton. Well, not anymore, but So it's just so much easier for all my friends to meet there.
Mhm.
But I knew so many people that were flying out of Toronto at the same time as me. So if I was in Toronto, I would have known like 5-6 people on the same plane.
Mm.
But
Yeah.
everyone was like leaving on Tuesday because like Wednesdays. Oh my god! I mean, Wednesdays everyone's leaving to make it there, right?
Mhm.
So
throw a number out there. Like I would say in relation to going to EDC or Miami Music Festival, how much is it to do ADE?
I think it's close to what I spent for EDC. The plane
Vegas,
ticket
right?
ride, yeah, the plane ticket ride is going to be obviously a huge expense. If you get lucky, maybe book it early enough, you could get a decent price, but like you're looking at least about
I found that
1200-ish.
even looking, because I was actually last year I was looking at AD prices for like hotels. It's like relative. It's really expensive
Yeah.
actually.
yeah,
Because they know what's gonna happen in the next year. Like right
Exactly.
after it ends, they already announced the next dates for the next year. So
Yeah.
it becomes the prices is like it's gonna be the same throughout.
You're not
year.
finding deals,
Yeah,
that's for
yeah.
sure, because
Yeah.
everybody knows the demand is going to be there for that whole week. So
Mhm.
yeah,
But that's only if you want to live up bougie life, right? We can always live in a hostel, no?
yeah. The hostels are
You could.
options. Yeah, I think even the hostel prices are pretty expensive. Like I think we paid like the whole hotel for the amount of time we're there is probably like $4,000 for like the
Mhm.
whole week, but obviously split between other people, right?
Mhm.
But like finding like the hostel would probably be like $2,000 for the week. But even that, like you're staying in a hostel with random people, it's still gonna be expensive. That's like the most expensive cost you'll have is finding
Yeah,
a
I think
place.
the accommodations is definitely gonna be the most expensive
Yeah.
part.
Like the
Yeah.
flights you can find pretty cheap. Just like finding a place one is the hardest part, and like paying the difference is the second part. But
It's also off season to actually go to Amsterdam. So like would you say that the flight price is cheap? Because I went to Luminosity, it was 1100-ish.
okay.
I paid less than that. It was like $700.
Oh,
Fly out of
okay.
Hamilton. It was the same price as Toronto, but it was like it wasn't crazy expensive. But yeah,
I don't remember what I paid for my flight. I'd have to look it up, but I think it wasn't that much different from when I went in the summer.
And
Yeah.
I didn't catch the rough price. Did you say it's like a 2700 or 3?
Are we talking about just flight and hotel or like the
Like,
whole
The
experience?
whole
whole
like
experience.
so
Dude,
if
wow.
someone
I don't know.
just
I
a
mean,
rough,
Little things adds up.
for me, it might have been closer to 4K that I spent while I
Yeah,
was down there.
okay.
And like, if I'm counting everything, like
Mhm.
food, getting around, I did a little bit of shopping and stuff
Yeah.
too, because why not?
Mhm.
But yeah, it's easy to spend a lot of money if you're not careful.
No, yeah,
Mhm.
for sure.
Yeah.
So I would say like 4K is around the price where you want to go to any major music festival
Yeah.
in around the world, like EDC, Vegas, Miami, Tomorrowland, and also Greenfields.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So like if you really want to spend that kind of money, just make sure that you have to put that aside for sure. And then would you say drinks are expensive? Is there like a big price difference between buying drinks from outside convenience store and inside?
Well, definitely, because at the convenience stores it's pretty cheap.
Mhm.
Yeah, but even in the venues, it wasn't crazy expensive.
No, it's probably like what €8-9
Yeah.
for like a drink.
I thought it was reasonable. It's not like when you go to Miami or
Mhm.
20
California.
€25
$25, right?
Yeah,
For
you
one
need
mixed
Ibiza,
drink.
like
And
those
one
places
shot.
are expensive
Yeah,
for drinks.
yeah.
But no, I didn't feel ripped off in Amsterdam.
When you say drinks, is it like a can of beer or
I usually got stuff that was either a can or a
or a
bottle.
mixer?
Yeah,
Like a mixed drink's probably like
Yeah.
€8, which is like all things considered for how big of a place it is,
Mhm.
pretty reasonable
Mhm.
considering other prices.
How did you guys feel about not paying tips and taxes when everything is already in costs?
I love it, man.
Yeah, it makes my life so much easier. The one thing I don't like is how they don't split the bill. It's just
Yeah.
I think it's just a
Oh, yeah.
European thing.
Yeah,
where,
I
like,
think it's a European
it's
thing.
it's different adjusted when there's like 6 people going to dinner, and then you have to figure that all out
Mhm.
after. That's just kind of how you adjust. But
Yeah.
yeah, it is what it is.
I see. So, any insider tips that you guys want to give our audience who wants to attend to ADE?
I would say just go with a plan,
Go with a
because
plan.
there's so much to do. And
Mhm.
if you don't have anything planned, you probably will just lose out on a lot of opportunities. So just do a little bit of research. Decide, like, are you going as just a fan who wants to go to really good parties? Are you going as a musician who wants to, like, make
Mhm.
network connections? And then just kind of prioritize where you go based
Would-
on that.
What ratio would you put if, let's say, you want to go for both? What's the ratio to events and conferences?
I would say pick like maybe 2 or 3 big events that you want to see. And then the rest of the time, try to be strategic about going either to like label showcases, or if there's a specific artist that you are, a fan of that genre, try to see if they have some sort of conference or something to go to.
I see. So
one thing that I sort of find like as a raver, like for the raving part of my vacation or my traveling trip, I'll plan the raving part more specifically.
Yeah.
And then anything outside of that, I'm just like, whatever, I'll just go with the flow.
Right.
If I'm doing like sightseeing or whatever, maybe I'll just walk around the city. I don't really care too much about sightseeing and all that.
Yep.
I'm mostly there for the rave and the festival.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's
that was same thing. Like I didn't have any sightseeing stuff during the day, like unless I just happened to walk by something on the way to somewhere else. But it was mostly a very music focused trip.
Yeah, I think as long as you like pre-plan a few shows you want to go to, make sure you like purchase those. Like, don't be too stressed out if you miss a show, because it's probably like 20 other artists the same day that you can find out.
Yeah.
Right? I think just like making sure you have like the mornings or like the afternoons to like go explore and check out the stuff you wouldn't see normally. Like those day parties I never would have saw if I didn't like just go downtown and take a look. Right. I think just like keeping at least 1 or 2 days open just to go explore, because like there's so much to see. And especially if a Pro Pass, there's like certain events that just Pro Pass only. Really? If you choose that route, but I don't know, just like going in for free shows and just seeing what it's about. I think that's a good option.
How if you go hard, I would ask, how much optimal sleep would you say it's viable? 4 hours a day?
4 hours is doable.
Seems reasonable.
Like you could still do a lot of daytime
reasonable.
stuff.
It depends on where you are,
Yeah. Like the nights where I had to be up early for some sort of daytime event, I got about 3, maybe 4. There was one day where I got 0 hours
of sleep.
But just because I had to get in line at 9 a.m. The party I was at didn't finish till 7. So I was like, I'm not going to sleep. There's no time to sleep here. Like, just got to go straight to the lineup and hope for the best.
I think like your mentality there is just you're on vacation. So like sleep's like a bypass at that point.
You're trying to maximize it, the event, right?
And I just cannot find it, like, I just find it weird when you're just all sweaty from an event and just go show up to a suit and tie conference kind of thing.
Yeah. But you're not the only one.
Right?
So it's like there's a lot of people doing that. So it's pretty normal.
Imagine like going to a conference, sitting next to a guy, and the guy's just like,
or the other way around, where they're just sleeping in the chair, just not even paying attention. It depends on what you choose,
There was one event that I went to during the day where I was kind of like dozing off, struggling to stay awake, and I felt kind of like, oh man, if somebody was looking at me as they're presenting, they're like, this guy's finding this so boring, he's falling asleep.
No, I think they'd understand where you are at a certain time, right?
Hopefully.
You just ask them afterwards.
It's so funny. They try to balance like the professional and then the party together, and then you just get some people that's in the conference like you.
Well, this is the weird thing about this industry is that like it's trying to be professional, but also like at the end of the day, everything's happening outside of professional hours, right? So it's kind of hard to be both of those things.
I think it's good because the artists and the conference people all also know the scene very well, so they kind of they bypass of like, oh yeah, you've been to an event, and they probably, it's a good icebreaker in a sense too, like, oh, what event you come from? Oh, keep 5 hours,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Yeah. So like overall dress code, say however we are dressed like this.
Yeah, you can wear whatever you want. Nobody really cares.
Yeah. As long as you end up somewhere, that's all that matters, right?
Yeah.
All right. I guess that's pretty much it. Do you guys have any questions?
The events coming up.
I got a bunch of stuff coming up. I'm playing at Nomad February 1st.
Right. For Nifra opening.
I'm closing with John for that one. And I'm going to Vancouver actually end of February. I'm playing at a 3-day rave. Like it starts Friday night and it ends Sunday afternoon. So I'm actually really excited about that.
You're playing there?
Yeah, so I'm playing Saturday morning 6 to 8 with John again.
Yeah. We'll plug the posters on the video. So if you're watching the video, take a look right now.
And for you, Mitchell?
Got lots coming up. I have February 8th. I have Danny Avila, Club 77. And then we have Felix Cartel next Saturday, also at Club 77. And then for us, we're just trying to keep it low key in Toronto. We have like a minimal showcase. I think it's January 25th at Drake Underground. So
How do you like the Club 77?
it's great. It's actually very underrated if you've never been there before. I think we're just trying to add new things now. Like now we're doing more like 360 style sets. There's also like the Underground at Club 77, which is very, very good for like big internationals. We had Lay Youth there, I guess a couple months ago.
That was
And
a
you were
great.
there,
I was
think.
there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I like the Underground a lot.
It's my favorite. It's just it's like a giant box, and it has a very good sound. It's very dark, and it's
This
very
is
good
Drake?
for internationals.
Yeah.
No, this is Club 77 Underground.
Okay.
So we had Lay Youth there, and I actually forgot that you went.
Yeah.
And then it's Club 77 is very good. I'd recommend.
I find it kind of weird because like you have one section that is raving,
Yeah.
and then the middle section is where all the university
The
kids
rap,
show up,
Yeah.
and then the next section is Dirty Dogs.
Yeah.
So you have rave, EDM, and then you have hip hop, and then you have country.
You have
Like-
all three, you know.
Yeah,
and
all
sometimes
three.
the Underground's open. That's like the techno room. So
Yeah.
if we have like a good night and all rooms are open, then it's also like you get free entry if you have one ticket. You can go all throughout.
Yeah.
What do you
cool.
guys see coming up in 2025? Like any big trends personally?
In terms of like the events that are happening
Events,
here, or just
music, artists.
For me, at least, I think it's like the hard house wave is coming. Like
Mhm.
DJ Heartstrings, like we were mentioning before,
Yeah.
just stuff like that. I think is gonna migrate here. I think just like more higher BPM, like any genre. 'Cause I
Mhm.
think that's just like the wave nowadays. I think obviously like the tech house wave will always still be there. And then more industrial techno, that's kind of stay with there. I think most of the trends at the end of 2014 are just gonna carry through. I don't think there's any like specific genre that's gonna stand out. I think just more like hard house and stuff like that. It's
Mhm.
gonna be a little.
Would
bit
you
better.
say the BPM sweet spot for hard house?
So I think before the hard house wave, I think like 126 to 128 was kind of like the
Mhm.
average, but now it's like at least 132, 135, 140 is kind of like where I see the trends going. But
No
never
more
know.
138.
you know what? It's I don't know. I don't know what to say about that. I'd love to see more 138 trance. I think the closest thing we'll have is just hard techno.
Mhm.
Hard techno is getting more trancey every time
Mhm.
I listen to it.
Same thing like Nifra.
I think we're just gonna have to accept that trance as we knew it will not be around, but like there are new versions of trance going by different names, and that's all it is really.
Mhm.
What do you think about the event scene in Toronto?
I think
year?
we're gonna see a lot more international brands coming here. So last year we had Teletech that was brought by two different promoters. So one time it was Summon, the second time was The Industry. Zamna obviously made its debut here. I think we're gonna see a lot more of that kind of thing this year. Just like bigger production, bigger brands, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I agree. I think just more like bigger acts are gonna happen now because I think like the Budweiser stage is growing its own. Like I think they just started like huge shows like John Summit and Dom
Mhm.
Dolla and stuff. I think
That's a huge success.
Yeah, it was.
Mhm.
I didn't go to either of them, but I heard from many people that was like is fantastic. So I think more stuff like that, bigger production and stuff is gonna kind of take over.
Are you gonna go to Veld this year?
I actually never been to Veld, and the only reason why I haven't been to Veld is just because it's like a trophy of mine. I'm like I refuse to go,
Yeah.
but I don't know. We'll see. The lineup's good as well, but I think
Mhm.
just more personally, I rather just go outside of Canada to go to festivals.
Yeah.
I agree.
Me too. I agree.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've
Even
been doing it for
outside
a
of
while.
Ontario, outside
Yeah.
of Toronto for festivals is
Mhm.
a good sign. Even
Yeah.
for like Escapade for the Montreal
Ilsonic.
Ilsonic's always fun. I
Yeah.
love going there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
So okay, that's it. We're gonna sign off. Thanks for tuning in for this week's ADE episode. If you enjoyed it and you want to support us, please share to a fellow raver and like and subscribe. Do leave us a comment or DM if you have any questions and concerns about the episode. We would love to talk to all and every one of you. This podcast is audience funded, so if you want to go above and beyond and support it, there is a PayPal link donation below. We also have affiliated programs with earplugs, mainly Here's, who is also a proud sponsor and partnership of ADE. So you get a massive discount if you do in groups, 25% off. And then if you want to buy just one set of earplugs, we do recommend a sound. We also have 10% off. Those affiliated links are below. So, and a couple of the panels personally use them at clubs. So if you have any questions, come up to us and talk to us. And do protect your ears because damage is irreversible.
Irreversible, yeah.
Irreversible. So, and that being said, thanks for tuning in and see you guys on the next episode. Bye.
Yeah.